welcome to another n8n tutorial video. This time we're talking about Nano Banana. Everybody's talking about Nano Banana, and I just wanted to show you a super quick, easy workflow that you can set up in n8n to get full access to Nano Banana with reference images and to be able to customize the style as well. And it's quite cheap. I like using FAL, so this is FAL. This is my favorite way of creating or of utilizing these kind of models in n8n because there's a really easy API call. And you can see that the request is $0.039 per image. So for $1, you can generate about 25 images, which I think is actually quite good. So this is what we're working with. This is FAL Nano Banana. Now we're going to jump into n8n and I'm going to help you build a Nano Banana image generator inside of n8n. So we're going to start with a completely blank workflow. And this is where already it gets a little bit controversial because in n8n you have the form node. And so you can use this trigger to generate a form, and you can fill in all your parameters, you can add your images and all that kind of stuff, and then that is utilized in the pipeline. However, about a year ago, n8n updated this form node, and you lose some functionality that I think would be quite nice in this. So what I have is an older form node from a older workflow that I have kept saved, and I've copied it in. Now you can see they look pretty much identical. However, this one, the old one, acts more like a webhook and the new one doesn't, which means on this one you can add a respond to webhook at the very end, which means you can do some nice things with the UI in returning a HTML page. With the new one, I think there's a bug with it because when you use the form ending, and when you select the return, see it says here display simple text.html, but whenever I put HTML in here, it's always stripped back and it's just like a plain text. It doesn't work properly. Whereas if you use the older version and you do respond to webhook, and you select the text option, and you can use your headers with a content type. Now this allows you to put any HTML in here and you'll get served an HTML web page. So this is the method we're going to use. I'll have my workflow available so you can get access to the older form node. Yeah, okay, great. So that's what we're going to do. So let's get started. So let's get rid of that. Well, we'll add that back in later. So we have the ingest. And I have already just pre-populated this with our prompt, our style dropdown, and our reference images. So these are files you can add JPG or PNG. You can add as many as you want. I would say like 3 or 4 is probably more than enough, but you can in theory add as many as you want. And importantly, we're going to select respond when using return to webhook node. Now that's really important because you'll see on the new form version, you don't have that option. It's respond when form is submitted or when workflow finishes. So you have to use the other form ending and it doesn't work properly. So this is what we're going to do. Now, let's start by, well, let's just test this initially. Let's get some data in. So this one is going to require us to take the test. Let's call it Nano Banana 2 because I actually already have one and I think this might confuse it. So we're going to take the test URL, we're going to execute, and we're going to drop that in. Why is that not going to work? Because I didn't already. Okay, fine. See, these are the things of live builds. I forgot I probably also need the, let's just do it like that for now. It needs the respond to webhook, otherwise it's not going to do anything. Okay, execute workflow. Now we have our prompt, style, images. So prompt, we're just going to put in, okay, let me show you the images that I'm going to use first to clarify why I've put that prompt. So I have a costume, just a Superman costume. I have a squirrel and I have a tree. And we're going to combine these in together to make the squirrel be on the tree in the costume. So that's what we're aiming for with this one. So that's why I combine these images into a cool superhero hybrid on a tree. The prompt doesn't actually have to be that detailed, but you can make it more detailed than this, and you'll get better context, but for like, this is good enough for now. And we can choose all these different art styles. I'm going to choose photorealistic for now, and I'll show you a few of those in a minute as well. And we're going to choose those files. So we're going to just drop all of these in here. So we've got 3 files, and we're going to submit this. Now, this isn't really going to do anything. It's probably going to throw an error, of course, because the workflow actually doesn't do anything. It's just got nothing, so it's just responding with nothing. We can see that we have our reference images in here, and we also have our prompt and our style. So this is a good start. What we're going to do now is we need to do a couple of things here just to make sure that the binary data is split properly, because what we're going to have to do is store these images in like Google, and then we're going to have to serve them back. What we're going to do here is we're going to do a code node, and in this code node we're essentially going to split these out into branches. I already have this code prepared from when I was testing it, so this is the code we're going to use. So we're basically just going to put like create an empty array, and then we're just going to split out the binaries, and then we're just going to return them. So that should give us now 3 binaries, which is great. That's what we want. I like naming things to keep things tidy. Split binaries. And I will put this workflow so you can access it as well. So like you don't have to copy everything if you don't want to copy, or if you want to follow along, you can follow along. Okay. Now, I'm also going to add a style picker in here. And again, I've just prepared this earlier because it's got a lot of styles. And you can go and add more if you want to add more. But we're just going to link this here like this, because what we're doing on our form is we're saying you can choose any one of these styles. Okay, so we've got photorealistic, cartoon animated, all that kind of stuff, and we need the prompts that would go with that. So I've just like predefined a few prompts, and then what we're going to do next is we're basically going to say that if the style here is photorealistic, we're just going to pull the photorealistic prompt. And again, we can do that with another code node that I have also, like Blue Peter, prepared earlier. And this is just a nice code node that's basically going to check the style prompt, check the ingest, all of this kind of stuff, and it's just going to spit out the one that we want. So let's do a little quick test of this. Great, and we have the style. You can see we've already got the final kind of built style, built prompt, sorry, with the prompt and then the style following that. So that section is kind of done. We've got the style, we've got the concatenation, we've got the split into branches. Now we're going to have to store these files because we need to serve them to file as URLs. My favorite way of doing that, just because it's easy and it's free, is to chuck them into a Google Drive. So Google Drive, and we're going to upload a file, and let me just get these in here. There we go. Okay. Now the file name, we're going to create this as an expression, and we're literally just going to take the file name from the binary. So you can do that by putting your curly brackets, selecting the binary data file name, and you can see that's going to give us the file name here. And as we cycle through, we've got the 3 different files. That just keeps everything nice and tidy. Inside of my Google Drive, I actually have just created Drive, Nano Banana, and then Asset Dump, and I have shared the Nano Banana page publicly. It's just view public, but it just means that FAL can access those files and download them. If it's private, FAL won't be able to access them. So for now, we just have it as public, and it means that anything inside of this is also going to be publicly accessible. So you can preset that, and then we can just select, what did I say, Asset Dump. There we go, Asset Dump. And then I'm just going to simplify the output for ease. We don't need anything else here. Okay. Now what this is going to do is this is going to upload those files to the Google Drive, which is exactly what we want. So here we go. uploaded the files to the Google Drive, we have the ID, and we also have 3 items. Now, we don't want 3 items moving forward. We actually only want 1 item. So what we're going to do is we're going to aggregate this, and we're going to aggregate the IDs. Okay, so when we aggregate the IDs, actually, I'm going to pin this because I don't want to keep uploading. So this means now this data is going to be locked in. And we're going to aggregate, and we should see our IDs, which is great. That's what we want. And I'm just going to rename this Drive ID just to keep things a little bit more organized. Okay. Now you can see here that we've got 2 different branches going on here. You could have done this in 1 branch. I like to do it in 2 because if I want to add more, if I want to do other things, then it's easier to split this. And then we're just going to add a merge node because it's very easy to do. And we're going to, instead of append, we're going to combine into all possible combinations. We don't really need to do any fuzzy compare or anything like that. So now when we combine this and run this, essentially this is going to run both branches and put all the data in one unified place for us, which is exactly what we need moving forward. Okay, believe it or not, like we're almost there. There's not a lot to this one, but it's really fun and it's really powerful. Okay, so now I like to add like a node that just helps me set the data, so it's just easier to find the things that I need. So let's name this set data. Okay, now this is going to be called prompt, and then we're going to have our image array. Now this is going to be important, and I'll show you exactly for why. Because when we are calling Nano Banana via fal, you'll see here that we require a prompt and we require image URLs, but an array of image URLs. Okay, so these are going to have to be populated somehow in order for the API call to be able to pull in all that data. Now, let's say I don't know how many images that I'm going to provide, right? So in this case, we've got 3 images, but we might have uploaded 1, we might have uploaded 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. So we don't know how many images we're gonna get yet. So this has to be dynamic enough that the image URLs are going to be built dynamically as an array. Okay, so the prompt is going to be easy. We're literally just going to set this as an expression, and we're going to take, expression, please. No, this one is fixed. This one is an expression. And we're going to take the final prompt. That's all we need there. And then the image array, what we're going to do, and I've prepared this a little bit earlier because there's a little bit extra that we need to do here. We're going to use this. So this is taking the drive ID array that we already have in the merge node. And it's basically going to prepend the correct download format link, essentially, so the Google Drive download link. And that's in a specific format so that the file can access that and download the file so it can use it. Now, files have to be, I think, below 99 megabytes. Otherwise, if they're above that, they go into like another page where it's like a virus scanning page on Google, which we don't want because then we can't access the file. I don't imagine anybody is going to provide images that are above 99 megabytes or whatever that limit is. The ones that I've got here are like, you know, kilobytes or a couple of megabytes at best, but it's just a limit to be aware of. So this is going to build the link, and then we're going to have the ID, and the ID is going to be dynamically populated from one of these, and it's going to output us, as you can see here, the array. Now ignore the fact that we've also got array twice. This will be resolved when we execute, there you go, image array. Okay, so we've set our data now, and we're basically ready to make the call to fal. And we can see in, where are we? Nano Banana, we have the endpoint that we need to call. So we're going to copy this, and we're going to make an HTTP request. And it's going to be a post request. And the URL that we're going to do is https q.fal.run / and then we're going to copy that in. q.fal.run / there we go. So that's the endpoint that we're calling. For the authentication, I I already have this predefined as a header auth, and we're going to use, where is it? Fal. So here you just need to basically come and you need to put in your key and value pair. So this will be your API key from Fal. Okay, we're not going to send query params or headers, but we are going to send a body, and we're actually going to use the JSON to send the body. Why? Because we need to send this data dynamically. It's a little bit easier to do that in this JSON format than if we were to use the field. I think the array has a little bit of issue when you do that. So we're going to change this to an expression, open it up, hop back to Nano Banana. We're going to copy this. So you get to that page from here. So this is the form, like this is their base sort of playground. And then you just click JSON and you can copy all of this. And then you head back into n8n and you paste it. We're going to get rid of the prompt because what we're going to do is take the prompts from here. Now, you'll notice originally this has the brackets either side. Not the brackets, the quotes either side. And we're going to need that, but we're going to do it a slightly different way. Like we could hard code this. So we could just put these either side. But it means that technically this isn't JSON safe. So it might be like you've got some weird formatting or whatever. So we're just going to make sure that it's JSON safe by typing two. So we've got JSON prompt to JSON string, and that's going to stringify essentially this. Now for the array, we're going to delete this. Notice we're also deleting the brackets because here we already have them built in from the input. That's all we need. Num images one, we're going to output JPG. So we've got our prompt, we've got our image URLs. That's kind of it really, and we're ready to send this to Fal. So Fal generate. Now we could just leave it at that, and that'll be the end of it. We're going to run this, and we can see that nothing really happens. We've got a response URL, we've got status, we've got other things going on, but we don't have an output yet, and that's because it takes time. So one of the other things that we're going to do is we're just going to build in a quick little loop with an if check to make sure that our output is going to be returned back to us. So the first thing we're going to do here, we'll do a quick status check. And the status check is going to be a GET request, and it's going to be on the status URL. So we can just dump this in here, and we've got the status URL. Authentication again is going to be the Fal one, and we don't need to send body or anything. And we can run this, and we can see that it has status completed. So this one completed, obviously, because it took a long time. It doesn't take too long to do this. I'm actually also going to pin this. But let's complete what we were doing because it's going to be useful for us. So we're going to do this. We're going to add an if node. And in the if node, we're going to check the status. And if the status is equal to completed, obviously we're going to complete it. So that will be the true branch. If it is not completed, we are going to wait. And we're going to wait 10 seconds. And we're going to loop it back to the status. So what this is going to do basically is, if the status is anything but completed, we're going to wait 10 seconds, check the status again, check if it is completed. If it is, continue. If it is not, loop. So that's a nice little loop here. And then once we are done, we need to get the response. So we need another HTTP, and I'm just going to copy this one to make it easier. And this is going to be the response. And the reason why we need this is because you can see that we actually have the response URL, the status URL, and like cancel jobs and things, but we don't actually have the file itself. So we're going to replace the status with the response. And that's all we need again. And we're going to submit this. And you can see now we have the output. So we have the image and we have the description for that image. And if I just go to this actually, so you can see, this is what was generated. And I think it's utterly fantastic. So we have the squirrel in a Superman costume on a tree. And if I just bring these back, this is the Superman costume, this is the squirrel, this is the tree. So it's pretty good. Pretty good. I really love this. It's incredible. Okay. But we don't just want to end it there. We want to do something cool with it. So what we're going to do now, and I'm just going to copy this in and talk you through it. Remember the respond to webhook node at the beginning that we were talking about, the whole reason why we didn't want to use the form. We could just use the form ending and just return a simple binary and that will be fine. Or even just like direct them to the URL and that would be fine. But I wanted a little bit more fancy. So we make sure this is set here to respond to webhook node, which it is. And we're going to link this up to a node that I've pre-made. And what you'll see in here is we're returning content type text HTML. And I've pre-rendered this HTML that is essentially going to give us a really nice end screen. And I'm going to show you that in just a second. But this is basically the workflow. Very, very simple. Really, really simple. I'm going to add one thing in here that I have also pre-prepared, and I will just explain this quickly. So this is a schedule trigger, so it just basically runs every midnight, and it's going to search the Google Drive folder and delete any files in our asset dump, because presumably we're not going to need them again, and if we do, we just re-upload them. So we're just really using the Google Drive as like a holding space for the files that we're using in this one instance. You could make it a bit more efficient than that, but this was just nice and clean. So this is our completed workflow in essence. So let's give it a go again and see what we can generate, and then you'll see the final end screen. So we're going to take this URL again, and we're going to execute workflow, and we're going to give it a go. So okay, style cartoon animated, select these, submit. So it's submitting, you can see it's going through the process. We've split the binaries, we're going to upload the files. Great, and now we're generating with Val. You can see it's already sent it, and now it's doing the status check, waiting for 10 seconds and continuing. So I'm going to come back here so you can see what's going to happen once this is done. There we go, your image is ready. Oh, how cute is that? I love it. So it's our squirrel Superman costume in a tree. Yes, okay, the tail is clipping through a little bit, but that's okay. It's a nice end screen. So you can customize this end screen however you want. And you can even go and see the full creation, so you can save it. If you want to work with me as well, you can also, a little cheeky plug for my own stuff with my AI automation business. But yeah, this is the end screen that we generate. And we can do this as many times as we like, and it's super, super cheap. But yeah, if you want to work with me, if you like what I do, please feel free to reach out. You, of course, have my website links now, and they're also in the description. If you like this kind of content, please leave me a comment below. If you want me to create different content on different areas of n8n, also please leave a comment below. I would love your feedback. I'm very new to making videos, so I would love, just some feedback to see what the vibes are. Other than that, that's it. There's no other than that. That is it. All right. Bye.